So it was one of Ronald Reagan's most famous and most repeated quotes. But the education secretary, responsible for keeping American students educated, just completely twisted it up and got it backwards. Listen to both of these comments. Here's Reagan talking about the overwhelming bureaucracy in the American government, and then the head of one of those departments and agencies, enormous agencies that many Republicans would like to see cut, using his words. Watch.
The 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help."
We're going to set up follow-up calls with every governor we met with to make sure we're available. As I think it was President Reagan said, we're from the government. We're here to help.
Oh, my goodness. All right, here's Chris Christie, former governor of New Jersey and Republican presidential candidate, here to help us untangle this. I mean, what does this say to you? As someone who represents a party that wants to see smaller government, and many people would love to see a return to Ronald Reagan-type leadership.
It tells you a couple of things. First off, our instinct that the Department of Education is unnecessary is proven by the education of the Secretary of Education. And I think it is a bigger point. That's what they want Reagan to have said. Right. But it's not what he said. He said the exact opposite. And so not only are you not informing our students about our history, and I see that throughout school systems across this country, but then you have folks in politics like Secretary Cardona who are twisting his words either through ignorance or intentionally. But it's because that's what he wants it to be. He wants the government to be in the middle of everything. And the government shouldn't be in the middle of everything. And we certainly don't need a federal Department of Education. So, and I know you've spoken about that on the campaign trail. You're a very passionate advocate of improving education and school choice here in this country. So I want to get your reaction as we look at where we are right now in this primary process. A bunch of headlines out there that basically are asking if you're going to leave. Christie vows to continue campaign to the bitter end. What do you say to those? The polls are not fantastic. You're in the best situation in New Hampshire. Now you're working hard to do well there. Yeah, look, what I say to people is I want them to remember the last 3 cycles that we've had. On Thanksgiving in 2011, or 2007 in Iowa, you know who was winning? Mitt Romney. Rick Santorum, who ultimately won those, or Mike Huckabee, who won those caucuses, he was at 4%. In 2011, they had Newt Gingrich winning. And the guy who ultimately won, which was Rick Santorum, was at 3%. And in 2016 at Thanksgiving, the winner at that time was Ben Carson, beating Donald Trump by 10 points. And Ted Cruz was at 7%. And Ted Cruz ultimately won. So I think everybody needs to understand that these polls are a snapshot in the moment. And then, in fact, both Iowa and New Hampshire have shown that the person who's leading in November is almost never the person who winds up winning in January. And so we are doing really well in New Hampshire since the last debate. Our poll numbers have gone up significantly there. We're either in 2nd or 3rd in New Hampshire, depending upon which poll you look at. We're competitive with Nikki Haley, and we're both, going to try to beat Donald Trump. So I don't think it's time. We started this race with 13 people, Martha, as you'll remember. And we're now down to essentially 5 candidates. Donald Trump, myself, Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, and Vivek Ramaswamy. That's the smallest number of candidates we've had at Thanksgiving without an incumbent in the race in this century. So why don't everybody take a deep breath? Let's let the voters in Iowa and New Hampshire hear from all of us over the next 60 days and then vote. And then we'll see where everybody stands then.
Nikki Haley got a big endorsement today from the Koch brothers. They've never endorsed in a presidential election. They say that they have a similar goal to what you have expressed, which is that they don't want to see the former president back in the White House. What's your response to that endorsement today?
Well, good for Governor Haley. I mean, anybody who gets an endorsement like that should be happy about it, and good for her. But I got to tell you, I don't think voters in Iowa and New Hampshire are going to give a darn who the Koch brothers support. They're going to decide who they want to support by listening to us on the ground in their living rooms. in their schools, in their cafeterias, where we're all campaigning regularly. So I think that's what's going to really matter, but it's a good day for her. Congratulations.
What's your next stop on the campaign trail?
Be in New Hampshire on Thursday.
All right, Governor, we'll keep track of all of it. Always good to see you.
Thanks,
you very
Martha.
much for coming by.
Got it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.